What's up, everybody? It's me, MrMfkingHappi. I think that camera caught that it's me, MrMfkingHappi. What is good? How are everybody doing? I hope you guys are great. I want to get updates on these weight loss journeys some of y'all have reached out to me and you were talking about. But you guys, it's been a whole month since I made a YouTube video and I couldn't believe it. And I looked at the little analytic thing they send at the end of the month and I was like, wow, I have not made a video in a full month. My channel grew, but you guys that follow me, you guys know that I do the Instagram and Facebook. So I was doing videos on both of those. I was just going live and then of course doing the regular little chats that we do. And I was like, wow, like I really could not believe that I hadn't made a YouTube vid. And this is like what I like doing these just because the ones that I normally do on Wednesdays are educational ones. And it helps us on our weight loss journeys. So that's gonna bring me to the topic at hand, which is this video, which is called clean eating. What is it? Yeah. All right, so you guys, clean eating is a term that has come up a lot. I heard it on the news. I talked to a couple of trainers. They were talking about it. And it seems to be like a new fad now. Not everybody, but a lot of health analysts and people like that are just saying eat clean. So I wanted to know what the hell is eating clean because, you know, I thought my food was clean. I clean my kitchen. I make sure my pots are right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no salmonella in here. So, and then food-wise, of course, we're going to clean the food. You always got to wash off the chicken. Now, and if you don't wash your chicken, I don't want it. Now, so, needless to say, clean eating is actually nothing to do with that part of it. That's just you. So clean eating, once I did the research for it, clean eating is plain and simple. Actually, it's not plain and simple, y'all. The crazy part is it has a lot of definitions, but the base principle of it is to eat as few processed foods as possible. And if y'all can see in the background, that is Monroe and Poseidon. They just woke up and they decided that they want to play. Monroe's 9 years old. If you don't know her, she's the black and white one. And Poseidon is the gray one. He's 2. So yeah, there we go. Those are my babies. I'm a dog dad. Back to our clean eating. Now, so clean eating when in regards to your life and what you're trying to do is trying to eat as few processed foods as possible. And then if you can't avoid the processed foods, you're supposed to find alternatives to like the heavily processed. You got to get as the least processed as possible. So, and then steroid free and things like that for clean eating. Things that have not been touched don't have a lot of things going on with them. So needless to say, when you go to the grocery store, eating clean is not cheap. All right. You gotta get them together. They're just like kids, y'all. But yeah, so eating clean isn't cheap. I went to Wally World. Y'all know Walmart's normally cheap. So I'm going to Walmart and I was trying to follow these principles that I was reading, like no processed packaging and things like that. Avoid artificial sweeteners and cheese and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? So I started going and I went to the meat section. This is where I started. And this is where I realized that clean eating may not necessarily be possible in America. I don't think if you go to the base principles of clean eating, like the very base principles from everybody's definition, like I've said a few times, is no processed food whatsoever. And if you can't find no processed, you're supposed to find processed alternatives where they've been processed to the minimum extent, just enough to get them on the shelf. Number one, how many people know what is the minimum extent of processing? You don't know. You really don't know. You just know what they put on the back of that package. So on the back of the package, the more ingredients and the more listing and things like that, that means the heavier, excuse me, that means the heavier processing that took place. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy chicken. And I'm talking about chicken. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy chicken. And that's a core part of your weight loss journey. You guys know this. So I go, chicken section. Normally I pick up the bag of frozen chicken because it's only $6. So I pick up that bag of frozen normally and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's more processing in this than the fresh one. So I went over to the fresh one. Yo, the fresh one cost more and it was less. And I'm like, I don't know about this, but I got it. And then I looked at the beef. I don't typically eat red meat. I don't think red meat is good for you when you're losing weight because it sticks to you and it takes a lot for your body to digest it. But sometimes, you do want to eat regular ground beef because you want to make something maybe that requires it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna find the ground beef. But again, you can't find non-processed ground beef in a regular grocery store. So I had to literally go and I found the grass-fed organic ground beef that was 1 pound. Yo, when I tell you that shit for 1 pound was almost like no, it was like $7. I put it down. Clean eating for me, if that's what's involved, you guys, I'm not doing it. So, yeah, that's just an example, and that's all I'm gonna give you for that. It's when you're eating clean, and if you can do it and you can afford it, go for it. That's it. I mean, like, it's not even a lot to put in this video. If you can eat clean and you can afford to do it, go for it. But if you can't afford it, eat smart. That's what I'll say. We're gonna do smart eating. So we're gonna buy things that are as least processed as possible. That's correct. So my bag of frozen chicken is okay. I'm gonna pick that up. When I go to the freezer section, for instance, I don't like vegetables out of cans. My mother raised us on, no, that's something we do eat clean. My mother raised us on fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff. Like we had corn stalks when I was a kid. We used to shuck it, stuff like that, me and my sisters. So that kind of stuff. I grew up on that. So getting something out of a can, for me, I can taste it. And when it comes out of a box, like boxed macaroni and cheese, it's disgusting. Do not cook that for people. But either way, I can tell that cardboard box and I can tell that can. So I don't particularly eat those things, but I will go to the frozen part and I'll get all my frozen vegetables and things like that. And then in regards to if I chose to make macaroni and cheese, even though it's a weight loss journey, we know we're trying to stay away from all of that. But if I want to and I want to cook for the holidays and, splurge a little bit that day, you get the cheese. For me, I don't get the artificial fat-free cheese that has substitutes in it. I get the one that's made with like 2% milk. Something like that. That's good for you. And I get of course you get your own noodles and then you go through your process of bacon and things like that. And then I also looked up a recipe for vegan macaroni and cheese. And we went to a place, it's called Vegan Soul here in Atlanta. It's on, I don't know what part we was in, but I know it's downtown somewhere like closer. Well, no, it was on the west side. It was on Lee Street, I think. But yeah, so it was over there. But it was really good for what I ate. But when I tell you, you don't feel full eating that stuff because it's very light, but it's good. So yeah, anyway, I digressed a little bit. Y'all know I do that in videos. But so, buy stuff like that when you're eating clean or when we're eating smart. Don't get the sugar-free drinks. That's something I want people to stay away from. Aspartame itself, there are a lot of studies on whether or not it attributes to cancer cells and feeds cancer cells. And for me, the fact that it's proved positive in some of those tests to do that, I don't think anybody should have aspartame. That's just my opinion. I mean, I can't take away from somebody's business, but I just don't think you should have aspartame. So if your artificial sugar has that in it, I think you should put it back because they make other things that has like stevia, and stevia comes from a real plant, and in those drinks is really good. Now I bought stevia on its own, and it has to grow on me. Like I'm working on it, and I'm working on making sure I put the right portions into the food or in the drinks or the teas and stuff because it has a taste. It doesn't taste like sugar. Like it definitely has a taste. It's sweet though. Like it's really sweet. But it doesn't taste like sugar, and we're accustomed to sugar. So that's one of the things. So in my video, I kind of rambled a little bit with the clean eating, but to answer the question, clean eating is pretty much eating non-processed foods, or as close to non-processed as possible. They have clean eating meal plans for diets. They have it for healthy skin. They have clean eating meal plans for diabetes and things like that. They have all of those things out there, and you can definitely check those out if you are interested in doing clean eating. And I do think it will help you with your weight loss. I will say that. Clean eating will help you with your weight loss for the simple fact you don't have any artificial anything if you truly eat clean. Your diet might be restricted if you eat really clean because that's just not the American way of business to have food. Like we don't have markets like that. Like there are farmers markets out there, but we don't have them like that. Like in fair proximity to some areas. Like a lot of neighborhoods don't even have access to fresh fruit. Believe it or not, here. And these are not like poor places. These are like in parts of New York City, there are neighborhoods that don't have access to fresh items. So it's hard for those people to get those things, yet alone go somewhere and say, I'm going to get something completely non-processed. So you got to eat smart with it, but it's definitely meal plans out there that you guys can look up and research. And if you want to do it, and like I said, if you can afford to do it, go for it. Me, I know I ain't there. I ain't there. I did the clean eating meal plan and I found this whole little grocery list to buy. Yo, when I got to that register, when I tell y'all I had enough food where I could probably make like 4 meals and that cart was almost $70, no. I put all that shit back and I went and grocery shop the way I normally do. Not for me. But if you want to do it, let me know and comment on the video below. Tell me how clean eating works for you and tell me if you found budget-friendly alternatives. And then also like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. Same name there. Also on Flipagram. MrMfkingHappi is on there too. And on Facebook, as y'all know, I'm DeMario. You can always follow me on Facebook. And that's where you see all of me. The family and everybody else is on there too. So yeah. So again, thank you guys for rocking with me. As usual, it's MrMfkingHappi. You guys be great. Rock out. Yeah.